Hello, you see us. That's right, we're live. Well, we're not live yet, but we're here. And here we are. March to the pod, presented by Eternal Roofing. Some changes have already started, and we'll talk about those here in a little bit. But first, we want to let you know what we've got in store today. And we're going to be wishing a happy Ben DiNucci Day to everyone who celebrates out there. We got thoughts on the retro logos that Sam Houston released. We're going to talk about the future of G5 with that amazing article that Mike Craven put out today on TexasFootball.com. We got miscellaneous. We've got all kinds of talk about golf and diamond cats and softball diamond cats and all those type of cats. I'm your host, Corey Hogue, the non-FBS insider at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Find me on your favorite social media channel at Corey Hogue Sports. It's all one word, CORYHOGUE Sports. I'm joined by the creator and manager of Sports of SHSU. It's all one word also, on Twitter and Instagram. Chief Operating Officer of the Cat Fund and proud Bearcat alum, Ben Sorrells. Ben, it's a day that will live for Ben DiNucci in infamy for multiple reasons now. And it's a day that, honestly, I should feel bad celebrating, and I don't.
Yeah, I don't know if I do either. You don't want to stomp on a man while he's already down, but I think we can make an exception.
Oh, well, yeah. And Ben DiNucci is the exception. For those who don't know, 3 years ago today, when Sam Houston was trailing at the half 24-3, DiNucci very confidently quote tweeted a post from Cat fans on Twitter.
That was my post.
That was your post.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Ben's post. He quote tweeted saying they were ready. Right? Isn't that what it was?
Well, he said, some of my friends made signs for the game. Here's the backstory for it. And the Ben DiNucci memes were going crazy on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and all that. And so someone just made a sign that said, "Where's Ben DiNucci?" And we were going to bring it to the game because, I mean, it was just funny because he was just kind of a meme at the time. And at halftime, he quote tweeted it and said, "Where am I? Where's your team? You should be getting ready for the fall. Better luck next year." And the rest is history.
He forgot there was another 30 minutes to play.
He did.
He completely forgot there was another 30 minutes to play out there. And then what happened in that 30 minutes lives in just Sam Houston lore. That was the national semifinals that year at home in Huntsville. This was during the spring. This game was played on May the 8th. And it was, let's see, what was the temperature there? It says sunny and clear. It was 85 degrees.
Yeah, it was warm.
So, well, I mean, that's not a whole lot different than in October, though. September, October.
I think it was like a 2:00 start, though.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It didn't help.
Yeah, it started at 1:36 and ended at 4:53. And in between there, James Madison got up 21 points at the half. Sam Houston started making a comeback. Jaquez Ezzard, man, he really etched himself in the history of books for Sam Houston there. A 69-yard pass for a touchdown from Eric Schmidt, who somebody has a jersey that could have been worn that day. Someone.
Yeah.
Signed jersey.
Yeah,
and then
Jaquez's or Eric's, yeah.
And Jaquez, 80-yard punt return. And that pull, during all this, in between all this, had a player go down with a neck injury that was transported off. Thankfully, he was okay. But I mean, all of everything that could have gone wrong did for Sam Houston for a while, and then everything worked together. And it just, honestly, Ben, it was how that whole season ended up, really.
Yeah, the cardiac cats. I mean, every single game in the playoffs was a nail biter. It was crazy. And yet Jaquez Ezzard had a game for the ages. I mean, you go 65-yard touchdown pass from Schmidt, and then defense gets a 3-and-out. Then you return the punt for a touchdown within a course of probably like 1 minute of game time. And probably 5 to 6 minutes of real time. And I mean, there was a 3-minute stretch there at the end of the third where you go Jaquez Ezzard, long touchdown pass, 3 and out, punt return for a touchdown. You get the kind of squib onside kick. You score on the second play of that drive, get an interception on the very first play of the next drive, then go score. And you go from being down 17-20 to up by a couple points within a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. And it was really unbelievable. I couldn't even believe what I was seeing at that time.
Yeah, in a matter of 2 minutes and 22 seconds of game clock, they went from down 27-10 to up 31-27. And that was still the third quarter.
I know. Here's a funny story. So at the football banquet a couple of weeks ago, Ryan Humphreys gave a little speech, and he said there's 2 things that he tells people, or when people ask how Sam Houston won a national title, he says, 1, we believed in ourselves and we wanted the guy next to us to succeed just as much as we did. And the second was we had Jaquez Ezzard, which I think sums it up pretty well.
Yeah. and Eric Schmidt, because in that championship game, man, he was huge.
Yeah. Warrior.
Oh, yes. In the true sense of the word right there. Okay. Happy Ben DiNucci Day. Unfortunately, today he was also released from what was it, the Jets?
I think it was the Broncos for Zach Wilson, because they traded for Zach Wilson.
Yeah, they traded for Zach Wilson from the Jets. So the Jets had a role in this. And his
tough when you get beat up by Zach Wilson. That's tough enough.
May the 8th will. You know what? If Ben DiNucci never hears "May the 8th be with you," he will probably be all right, because that's a day he don't want with him.
We'll make sure to let him know.
Oh, yeah. Hey, how about we just tag him in this?
Yeah.
How about we just do that? Just tag old Ben DiNucci on Happy Ben DiNucci Day. No, that would be a step too far, since the man just got cut now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's quite the day for DiNucci.
It is. It has been quite the day. And we also want to take a moment here to thank our sponsors, Eternal Roofing, for being a Bearcat, being part of the Bearcat family. Taylor Andrus and company there. He is an alum of Sam Houston, and we are very, very proud to partner with him. We are coming up on the end of our first year here pretty soon, Ben. And so we've been with Eternal Roofing, and they've been with us for almost a full year, almost since we started. They came aboard just right into the beginning of it. And it's been hopefully they think it's been as good a partnership as we have. I'm not so sure Taylor's been as happy.
We've had some fun.
We have certainly had fun. We're going to continue to have fun. We hope that we keep Eternal Roofing around. So let's tell you what they do. Obviously, they do a lot of roofing services. Then they can do it with a detailed inspection. They're going to do it for free. That's the first thing, especially after all the weather I've been seeing through the hill country and all flooding and everything going on through there. Make sure if you need any work, roofing-wise, general contracting-wise, throughout the hill country, Houston, the state of Texas, Eternal Roofing, your people. Like I said, they give you free detailed roof inspections. They're going to give you fast professional service, not going to pressure you to sell it, and the workmanship is incredible. Give them a call. Montgomery office is area code 936-215-8539. Hill Country, area code 830-251-5673. Or you can email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. So here we are, Ben. Before we get into this next one, we have a new little studio that we're recording on May the 8th, Ben DiNucci Day. And in typical Corey fashion, I think I got off a meeting about 11:30, and I decided, man, what a better time to come up with a new podcast hosting platform away from Zoom. And what a brilliant thought to do that a mere 4.5 hours before you're supposed to record, you know?
Can't time it any better.
That's brilliant. If that doesn't explain me, I don't know what does. So here we are. We're on StreamYard is what we're using today. We're going to try out some new things. And by the way, this could be very dangerous, Ben, because now we have access to things that we should not have access. Listen,
we more like you.
which kind of is a great transition into what I was about to say.
There we go.
I believe the listeners, if you've listened for more than a half an episode, you understand. Mentally, I am still 13 years old. And so you give me a platform where I can do things. And honestly, I thought about it earlier. I should have already had it. Fart noises. We need, you know what? Just random fart noises or something. You never know, right?
You got to spice it up a little bit.
We can always spice it. We control when the theme music plays now, Ben.
Yeah, we've got a lot of power in our hands now.
That's a lot of power. They could just randomly play. And then we could stop it and you could. That's right. People can cheer for you.
For you.
They're not cheering for me, Ben. You know? Let's see. Is it even going to load? This is what's so great about doing this in 4.5 hours that I'm not even sure they're loaded. All the tracks I have here, we've got some good ones though, and because of that, we're able to talk about the new logos that Sam Houston decided they're going to bring out. Technically, it's a new secondary mascot mark. Here's my question, Ben. Does that mean they're taking away the original the mascot marks they have now?
The walking Sammy?
Yeah, and the other one, yeah.
No, I think they're staying. I think this is just another one they're adding. Can never have enough logos, right?
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe that makes a little better. But if you're watching on the YouTube channel right now, we're putting up the Sammys, and we're going to talk about these logos, Ben. We're going to get into them. And we start with the walking Sammy. That, by the way, the new one I heard, they went, oh, it's got the sailor cap. What is that on walking Sammy's head?
It's like a different version of a close-up of the walking Sammy head.
It really is. And let's face it, that walking Sammy is very well done. The artistry is well done. Everything about that is well done. Then when you just go into the Sammy head, again,
it's like the same thing.
It is. And that Sammy looks like a Sammy that you're like, man, I don't want to mess with him. Right?
It's a ferocious Sammy.
I understand that sometimes we like to be retro. But guys, there are some logos that we should never try to recreate. And I think this new secondary one is one of those that should have gone in the dumpster. Because if you haven't seen it, it's on all over the Twitter page, the Sam Houston Athletics Twitter page. It's on Ben Sports of SHSU. I'm sure I probably retweeted it. Didn't really give my thoughts about it. I didn't really have any until I kind of started looking at it going, what are we doing? I mean, okay, the 1950s Sammy, that's great for 1950s. And you know what? If you want a retro uniform, retro logo day, by all means, use that one. But to try to recreate that with an updated Sammy, which is basically walking Sammy that wants a cookie. And it looks hungry, Ben.
It does. And for me, it just doesn't do a ton. If you go back, I think one slide with the other head, I mean, it's not that much different. I mean, that Sammy head was kind of a nod to some of the older logos as well. And so, I mean, I think it's okay. It doesn't do a lot for me, and I like this logo already, and now you're kind of coming up with just another version of it. So I don't know.
And they missed on the most important part of this new logo.
The hat. Are you talking about the hat? I know.
Yeah. There is a way to put SHSU on the hat. I think there's space on the 2024 Sammy, which is what they have it titled as on here.
Yeah, that was the very first thing I thought when I saw it, was that they didn't put any lettering there on the hat, which I thought would have been, if you're really going to go all in on the retro, I think you could have kept the SHSTC, which I think is the Sam Houston State Technical College. I think if you would have gone all the way in on it, that might have been a little cool. But this just feels like a different version of what we already had, which was good enough.
If you told me they were using the retro Sammy for some helmets or whatever, right? Like we're gonna have uniform. That's fine. Go back to the 1950s Sammy, but we don't need a 2024 Sammy for the. It just look the 1950s Sammy. I'm only good with it because it was the logo for a long time. Looks pretty darn spastic
for the 50s, especially too.
Yeah, right. So why we want to take a logo that we look at now and go, gosh, that looks pretty spastic, and try to make one somewhat similar. It didn't work for me.
We've already, I'm sure you could probably load the picture up if you pull it up off screen and bring it on. But if you look up Sam Houston versus Northern Arizona, when we played at Northern Arizona, we have the other Sammy logo on a helmet already, and it looks extremely similar to what this would look like.
When Sam Houston against Northern Arizona?
Yeah, when we started the season. In 22, I believe it was, right after the title, or maybe 21.
Yeah, 22.
And so you already had that kind of look on the helmet with the other logo. And I mean, this isn't going to look really that much different at all.
No, it's not. It's I don't know, man. It seems like a miss. Like there's so many things this university can do well, and so many things they could have done with this time, and it feels like a miss on this one.
Yeah, I don't know if miss is the right word. I don't know if we needed it. I guess I think it looks fine. It's what we already have pretty much.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there one?
But if they really would have leaned in and put the letters on the cap, I think I might have bought in a little more.
See, that one from Northern Arizona was still the regular football helmet. When they played Northern Arizona that year.
Well, they had it on one side, and the other side they had the regular.
Okay, because the only picture that I see on the side of it. Anyway, yeah. Also, this new platform here, Ben, will give us a chance to put things up like that. If we think of it ahead of time, and Corey doesn't do it 4.5 hours before. We can also put video of press conferences up here and talk about it and have it all live, and that could be interesting too.
Yeah, I got the picture here. I don't know if I can share or not.
You should be able to. No, probably not, because it's in. All that stuff is in my Google Drive.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But we will find that. We will. If you have it, send it to me, and I can see if I can get it loaded up here while we're doing this, or tell me how to find it. Maybe that will help.
I just typed in Sam Houston versus Northern Arizona football when they played him at Northern Arizona.
Oh, it was at Northern Arizona.
Right.
Okay, so that was 2021. 2022, they were at home.
Right. It was a home and home. We lost at home the next year. That was not good.
Yes.
That was the John Perry experience.
There we go. Yeah, that was. Yeah.
It's not going to look that much different than what that is on that helmet.
It really doesn't, and like I don't know if that's going to make it any better, in my opinion, or not, to be honest with you.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, they had a chance. Okay, they just released the regular ones, like, what, 2 years ago?
No, I think it was right before COVID. I think it was like 2020, which is still only 4 years.
It wasn't, no, because in they were still the old logo during the championship run, weren't they?
No, that was the first year with the new one.
Was it?
That was the first year with the new logos.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I thought they had the logos after, like before, or I mean the year after they won the title.
Yeah, the first one was that spring, because they rolled it out, I think, literally not long before that season even started in the spring.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, It's almost just like what this university finds a way to do.
Hey, we'll see. Maybe it'll look super cool in a jersey, and we'll eat our words or something.
Well, I hope so. I sure hope it does.
And in the press release did say we'd see the logo in some sort of capacity on a football jersey this year. So we'll see what that looks like.
Yeah, we will. Let's see if I can bring it back up here. Maybe it's in. Maybe remove from studio. Let me put it back in the studio. And I'm not sure if it'll have. It does not have the new one. You know, we're going to have to really. That's one of the things here is we're getting towards off season. Corey's going to have to figure out how to do this quicker.
First day, right? Only 4 hours beforehand. I think we're doing pretty good.
That is true. A little bit. Yeah, sure. All right, let's see. Do we have it now? There's Walking Sammy. There's Sammy. There's the other 2024 Sammy. Yeah.
It's a little cropped, but
it is a little cropped because of how that came in on there. Of course it is. Geez, you get the idea.
You get the gist.
Corey's gonna get better at this. I am not. Here's the thing, though, Ben. When it comes to this stuff, it's gonna take me a little bit. I'm gonna need because I am not very technologically savvy. I have no training in this stuff. Everything I've ever learned when it comes to computers, I've taught myself.
Trial and error.
Yeah, Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheets. So keep that in mind this year when you see that I'm at a high school football game on a Friday night and you've got a page you can go to that will update you with live stats and down distance and time remaining in each quarter. Just remember that I taught myself all of that.
It's a miracle.
And when people go, how'd you do it? I honestly can't tell you. I don't know because it really is a miracle. I don't know, man.
Here we go. Here we are.
I luck into so much crap in life. It's not even funny. Hey, look, this job.
Yeah. We'll take it, right?
We will. We'll take it. We'll take it. I went to the marketing branding site earlier today too, and that was one where they have the primary marks, the secondary marks, the mascot marks. So I guess this will be a secondary mascot mark is what they're calling this. I don't quite understand why, but I love how they do not change the opacity or use old marks. And there is a really, really old Bearcat logo on that page as well.
There are some interesting old logos.
There's
been quite a few.
There are. Me personally, I'm kind of fond of the March to the Pod logo.
There you go.
Hey, speaking of that, we should let people know maybe a little earlier in the show that here after baseball season concludes, when all the sports have concluded, we will be taking a break until roughly media day-ish time frame. So probably early mid-June or July. I mean, we will be taking a break. Also, hey Ben, did I tell you last week about? I might have told you off air. I don't remember if I told you on air.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know. It's about to be a surprise to all of. It's like when my kid opens a birthday present, it's a surprise to me as well.
I know that. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, anyway, golly, that got me off track. Go figure, right?
Whatever you were going to tell me, that's what.
Yes. So mid-July, and this could affect our recording and could affect some of this. Mid-July, there is a chance that I have that it's not confirmed, but a chance I'll be getting my service dog during that time. It could be July 15th-ish that week. So if that's the case, I will be in training with my dog all week. The dog will be training me how to listen to him. I'm pretty sure that's what. Yeah. they'll be very impressed with me. And hey, look, it's coming from Canine Companions. What a great company that is, a great organization. And they do a lot of dogs. This is a dog that's going to be able to help my PTSD and anxiety throughout crowds and things of that nature. And so it's going to be very welcome. It's going to be a very welcome addition into our family. But hopefully that comes this summer because, man, I've been waiting a year and a half. I'm ready to get it over with.
You're naming it Tripod, right?
We don't get to name it. They come with names.
It better be something good.
Plus, I mean, Tripod only works if you got 3 legs.
And maybe it will. Who knows?
Maybe it will. Or maybe it will after a car ride or 2 with me or something. I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Also, we want to let people know that we are a podcast on the Republic of Football Network and an extension of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Please like and subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on the various social media channels, including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at March to the Pod. It's all one word. It's the word March, the number 2, the Pod. And for those who are watching on the YouTube page, a big shout out to you. And who knows, Ben, when we come back, there's a chance. This is a great opportunity for you. If you're the listeners, we want to hear from you. What do you want to see a little different? What would you like to see change for our next season of episodes? We're coming up on the end of season 1 now. What would you like to see? What is your constructive criticism? If you have any, we will take all of that. And then we will and we're going to try to see if we can't work in some guests and things like that as we get going forward. Really kind of spice up this podcast a little more than just having to listen to me drone on and on about the flying squirrels or something.
Or the whatever hat you're wearing today. I can't remember the name of the obscure animal or whatever it is.
The Mahoning Valley Scrappers.
You got to do a hat power rankings one day.
This is okay. I like this one. I like the scrap, but they're no longer a minor league team. They were in the New York Penn League for the Indians, now Guardians, for a while, and they are no longer. They're now in the MLB Draft Summer League.
They're still a team.
They didn't make the cut, man.
I think the more obscure league they play in, the better.
Yeah, and see, I got this before they went obscure too. That's probably a good thing. Wait till you see what's coming, man. Wait till you see the hats that have been released this year for theme nights.
You get an Oat Milkers hat. Have you seen that?
I sent that to my wife yesterday. It was the utterly something hat. Golly, man, that was tremendous quality. Hey, I just thought about it. What I could have done is just shared my screen here, and that would have allowed us to look at that whole thing a little bit better. Look at that. Corey figured that out. So there is
steps, right?
Do what?
Step by step, little by little.
Step by step. Every now and then you will find me do good things. Let's see if I can get this one up. There it is. Nice. All right. We're learning every day.
Yes, we are.
You know who else is learning every day?
Eternal Roofing.
That's right. So is Gabe. Gabe raised his hand. By the way, speaking of that, before I go into our friends over at Eternal Roofing, Ben, I got in trouble last week.
What's new?
True. Good point. But when we got done recording, I got in trouble for what I said on the podcast.
What was that?
Well, I said a word, starts with an S, ends with a tupid.
Mm.
And, we're not supposed to use that word. So I got in trouble for it, and rightfully so. I needed to apologize for using the word I should not use out here on the podcast. So know that little ears are listening. Just, my little ears, not yours. They don't. It's not on speaker or anything crazy like that.
I hope not.
Think of how bad it is for him. He only hears one side of the conversation.
Right.
Anyway, back to our friends at Eternal Roofing, and we are very, very proud to have them. And one of the great things about having them sponsor our podcast here and having this new little, wonderful setup we have right now, we have the Eternal Roofing logo out there all the time. And look, there it is, still there. Right in the upper corner, you get to see it. We get them advertising nonstop, and we want to, because Eternal Roofing is an incredible place to be. And you know what? Let's show you why. Let's go to their website and look at some of these past projects. You go to eternalroofingtx.com, click on past projects. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you will see how to go through this, and you will see some of these projects. Here's a standing seam metal roof, some stone repair, roof replacement. They use certain T shingles, and I think that's important to mention too, Ben, because that is superior quality. And we've told you that they do roofing. You know that. You know what else they do, Ben?
Probably Christmas lights.
Well, they do Christmas lights. It's May the 8th. It's not too early.
It isn't.
It's not too early. They also do general contracting, which, we'll tell you about here in a little bit later, because why not?
They do it all. And I'm sure some people probably need some work after these storms.
They really do. And the general contracting, probably, if anyone was really good at marketing, would have put that first on the read this time rather than last, because considering that you see water lying throughout the hill country.
Water lying everywhere. And I mean, I know there's a tornado warning for like all of East Texas tonight, so It just keeps coming.
Yeah, we up here in North Texas, we had our share of that last week. We had a good week and a half stint. We were watching a lot. Thankfully, nothing hit Wichita Falls, but good Lord, man, some places got just ravaged out here.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It is, which is why if something happens, like this is that time of year that tragedies strike. Especially, Mother Nature tragedies strike, especially around this state. We are very well known for it. So if you need any sort of roof repair, any general contracting work, give our friends over at Eternal Roofing a call. The Hill Country office, if you're on a boat right now going through the highways of the Hill Country because there's that much water, you probably need Eternal Roofing to come by and do some general contracting work. Area code 830-251-5673. Montgomery County office area code 936-215-8539, or you can email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. Ben, if you thought that the logo was one thing to talk about, boy, do we have something else. And Mike Craven wrote a piece on TexasFootball.com today. I cannot recommend it enough to go check it out. The title is "A Split is Coming. Head coaches sound off on future of G5 football." And I'm just going to take this part by part, because as I read this, I was like, there are so many things to break down as we go throughout. Basically, listen, we hear there's a new G5 poll coming. Right? And are G5 schools really wanting their own championship? That's kind of what he's asking here. Like, the split's coming. FBS, we know. G5 going to be its own entity, or are they going to reconnect with FCS? It sounds like we could have 3 Division I divisions, Ben. I'm not sure how prudent that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be interesting to kind of see, because I feel like it's inevitable at this point, at least at the P4, G5 level kind of split. What that split looks like for the group of 5 teams, do they kind of break off and have their own 60 teams, or do they add 20, 30 from the FCS? And then there's another tier of Division I football we'll see. That part's going to be interesting. And I feel like a lot of G5 fans don't really want it. I'm a guy that probably does want it, just because I know how hard it is to compete with Ohio State and A&M and Texas and LSU and stuff like that. And you want to have something to play for. I mean, we all saw how exciting it was to compete for a national title at the FCS level. Now you can kind of do that again if this happens. So I don't think a lot of fans do, which I don't really get. But I feel like a lot of coaches probably do. And I know it's something Casey Keeler has talked about for a long time since this move was made.
Yeah, because the transfer portal, man. The transfer portal has made this split inevitable. And I'm not one that throws out the transfer portal as a boogeyman. I'm actually a fan of it. I like the way it operates right now. I think it's okay. I think, you got to learn how to work within the system you're handed. And the bad part is for coaches like Casey Keeler and Sam Houston, if we get – it's one thing to say recruit your roster, right? But if you've got a guy who you used to bring them in as a freshman, no one else saw the talent they have, you picked up on it, you gave them a chance, they develop in a star year 2, year 3, now all of a sudden they're gone after their junior season. You're not the beneficiary of all the work you put into that guy. He then goes up to Alabama, right? And then on top of that, Ben, we've gotten to a point in recruiting where what Sonny Dykes said is true. Sonny Dykes said Alabama and La Tech aren't playing the same sport. It's true. Yeah. And Craven so perfectly describes it that there's only so many offensive linemen to go around at these different levels, and I think that's a big reason why there's only so many top level skill players, and all those guys are going to end up in FBS, but the group of fives, they want something to play for, because right now these coaches are telling these guys, come here, the best we can get you, the best we can do, is let's see, we can get you a bowl game and maybe a conference championship.
And it's probably going to be a pretty crappy bowl game, too.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to have anybody there. You're not going to get the things that they get at the Power 5 bowl game. That's the other thing, too. I think we need to figure out the differences between the Power 5 bowl games and the Group of 5 bowl games and the Power 4 bowl games, because the money in those is not the same, and neither are the level of gifts that the players get and other things.
Yeah, and I mean, the rich are only going to get richer, and I mean, I don't know if poor is the right word, but schools like Sam Houston are going to fall farther behind. I mean, for example, I'm sure you saw it. There's this new college basketball tournament that's going into place this year where the teams that are invited get at least $1 million in NIL for their basketball players. And it's going to expand to 16, maybe 24 teams. And it's only the big teams that are invited, which makes it even harder for schools like Sam Houston to compete. And it's going to get to the point where the gap is so big that, I mean, I feel like you're going to have to want to play for some sort of G5 title. And I don't see a problem in that. This is why you made the move up to G5. You want to be able to compete for a title, and you kind of knew it was coming.
Well, and that was one of the most, my first reaction was, okay, if it's a good thing that that the Group of 5 splits off, then why did Sam Houston move up? Why not stay FCS where you were top dominating school? But then Craven explained that away in that piece as well, because SMU left Group of 5 for the ACC, leaving $100 million in television revenue because they felt they didn't want to get left behind when that split takes place. Honestly, they can still get left behind, SMU. You're not they're one of those schools that really doesn't have value to Power 5 programs. They're not a blue blood. They're not a name brand. It's very difficult for them. So I'm not sure how well and how long they even hang in the Power 4, to be honest with you.
Right.
But Sam Houston coming up was because they didn't want to get left in the third tier of Division I football. And you know what? If you put it that way, now it makes sense.
Yeah, and you avoid, I mean, at least here temporarily, the $5 million fee to move up. And who knows what kind of fees there's going to be going forward or what that looks like. And so now you've already kind of established yourself in this G5 realm. And I think it was the right move. Like you said, you just can't get left behind. You did not want to get left behind in that third tier, and you didn't want to risk it, even though you were a team that would probably move up. You just don't want to risk it.
So now what happens to the rest of Division I? Because FCS is the football championship subdivision, and they are that because they are the only division that has a championship in Division I. And I don't know if the NCAA can hand out 2 championships. Like, you know what I mean? I think Group of 5 is going to be completely separate FBS will be one. I think Group of Five will be its own complete separate entity away from the NCAA. I think that's the only way they can do it. And then FCS will continue to be the NCAA entity that sponsors championships.
Right. And I think it's just a matter of how many teams stay in that FCS and how many teams move up to that Group of Five level, that kind of middle second tier kind of thing.
Yeah, and what does that mean for all the other teams below?
Below in the FCS right now, or
what does that mean for D2 and D3? D3 will be fine, but what does that mean for like D2 schools?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll have the opportunity to jump up to FCS if a good chunk of FCS schools, I don't know, move up to that G5 level. But then you have additional scholarship requirements and stuff like that. So there's just so much to sort out.
Eventually, we'll all be back where we started.
Right.
And another thing in here, I found this very, very interesting too. There was, Brett Lashley put, I think fans would have loved if Liberty, SMU, Troy, and Boise State were in a 14 playoff last year.
Oh, yeah.
Kids will still transfer up or down, but at least each school is competing for something. And that, as you're never going to stop kids from going up that think they have the talent but really don't. No matter how honest you are with them, they're still going to go and fail on their own. They got to find that out. Maybe this will help some of those guys land a little softer back on their feet. It's somewhere, because a lot of these guys don't end up at a program at all.
Right. A lot of guys, I feel like the majority of guys that transfer either make a lateral move or go down or don't find a home anywhere.
Oh, yeah, they don't. 50%, roughly close to 50% of NCAA Division I athletes did not find a home when they entered the transfer portal.
It's crazy. The grass is not always greener.
No, it's not, and there's multiple reasons. And one of the sad parts about it is you are not finishing your education, which truly still is part of the reason. Whether you believe it at the Group of Five and below, that's a reason you go. You're not doing it to go to the NFL.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, speaking of education, I know that's another thing. I feel like I've seen a couple basketball transfers recently commit somewhere and then decommit because they don't have the credits to transfer in. And so that's another thing that you got to look at. I mean, it becomes a factor sometimes.
Credits are a problem.
Especially if you transfer 4 different times.
Well, yes, because the school only accepts so many credits. Right? Like they're only going to accept like basically your core credits. And then they're going to force you because the school you transfer to, they want their money as well.
Yeah.
So they're going to force you to go to their elective classes that they have. And if they don't have, if you're not on track with your degree plan, you change your degree plan, you're totally thrown back.
Yeah.
And so now you can't get in. And there are those. The other thing too, that you want to look at this is I've heard from there's nothing that binds these transfers to a school when they commit. Even that scholarship paperwork doesn't bind them to that.
Right. Until they take classes, right?
Yeah. Until they start school. So that's why a lot of coaches are not putting out who's committing to them so that they won't get other coaches trying to get that player away from them.
Right.
There's a lot to it. Now, there's another part to this that I found very interesting. And it's what Eric Morris said. He knows people at North Texas. Well, I'll just go ahead and quote him. I know people at North Texas will be more juiced if we're playing Rice, UTSA, Texas State, UTEP, and Sam, opposed to flying to Charlotte or East Carolina. Regionalization of college football. I feel like we're starting to figure out that FBS is national. We don't care. They can go anywhere. If you're FBS money, you it doesn't matter if you're flying to Seattle, Washington for a conference game. But if you're North Texas, Sam Houston, UTSA, it does.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does it, but when they come to your place, you're not getting the fan support you would get if it was a team from your regional area. I feel like we've lost a lot of that, and I really hope that Eric Morris is right and that we're going to start heading kind of back to some of that regionalization of college football to where those of us who still crave some of those rivalries that we used to have can have those back, while the big teams can go play their national schedule and do all the whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I think it only helps boost attendance. I mean, Sam Houston versus Air Force, I'm sure, isn't going to draw nearly as much as Sam Houston versus Texas State will.
Oh yeah,
and I mean the Big Ten example of Rutgers having to play Washington or UCLA. I mean, it's just hilarious that those two teams or three teams are in a conference together.
yeah. No, look, does anyone want to see UCLA play at Rutgers? Me? No, but you know who does, Ben? You know who will? The UCLA and the Rutgers donors, because they're going to buy the season tickets.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why it works at FBS. Also, they've got a lot of airports around them. There's not a lot of, big airports around Sam Houston. You got to travel a ways to get to Houston International. That's the other thing. People go, oh, you can fly, but you've still got a bus there. You got to go through security. It's not just easy to get up and fly.
Well, and this isn't really any breaking news. I mean, it's probably something that's somewhat out there, but I was talking with Casey Keeler before the auction, and travel scheduling, I think, came up. And right now they either have to go to Bush or they go to College Station because that's where you can get a chartered flight out of. But he said in the next couple of years, they think the Conroe Airport, which is expanding, might become big enough to where they can charter a flight out of. So instead of having to drive an hour to College Station or an hour 15 to Bush, maybe you can just drive half an hour to Conroe. I mean, that definitely might help.
It would help.
Wouldn't change a lot, but it'd be a lot more convenient.
It would. Me personally, I would be a big fan of regionalization of college football at all levels. I really would. I think we get more out of it when you're playing teams that everybody kind of knows and has a little bit of a vested interest in.
Right. It makes it more fun. I mean, Texas State, Sam Houston's going to be a lot of fun, a lot more fun than Air Force.
Yeah. I mean, nobody gets – I mean, yeah, look, we love Air Force, right? Like, no, this is not a shot at Air Force. But – I don't get the blood going for a Sam Houston fan.
And you can't hate a serviceman either.
Well, you can.
It's not right.
I don't know. I was in the service, so I mean.
And I don't hate you. I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. You can. It may not be nice, whatever. I don't know.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I mean, look, none of us know what's going to end up happening. Obviously, it's all speculation, but I just think you're going to have those people, and you mentioned earlier in on text message, we were kind of discussing this a little bit, and you mentioned some of the Conference USA fan sites and stuff, or they believe that they're right, and they do. Some of them really believe they're right under the Southeastern Conference. So there's got to be a reality and honesty check for fans too, that, hey, Conference USA, not quite Big 12.
Right. And I know a Texas State account was not happy with Mike for suggesting the G5 split. He did not like that. There's a lot of G5 fans that don't like it for some reason, which I don't get.
I don't know. I guess they're fine just playing, 5-6 home football games, watching their team 11, 12, 13 times a year, and that's it. Hope they win enough games to get some meaningless bowl game. I think it'd be better if you had playoff games that you were hosting and stuff myself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, James Madison versus Sam Houston, or Sam Houston versus UTEP on a Wednesday night. I mean, I love Conference USA, but, man, that playoff atmosphere, it's so much fun.
Sam Houston, UTEP on a Wednesday night with images that still roll through of things that students did there they should not have done. Very phallic things they should not have done.
I think it was Halloween night. What do you expect from some college kids?
I thought it was great because I'm 13 mentally. I looked at that and I giggled.
The internet loved it.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, the Sickos committee, they can't get enough of that.
I know. In the campus tour, college campus tour, whatever the guy that goes to all the stadiums. I actually got to meet him a couple of years ago. He's a good guy. He was the one that took the video.
Nice. Ben, tell us about the Cat Fund and what the Cat Fund has going on these days.
Yeah, Cat Fund is our NIL collective for Sam Houston athletes. All the money directly goes to the athletes at Sam Houston, and not too much going on right now with the school year coming to a close. But if you want to join up, cat-fund.com, you can join as little as $10 a month. As we ramp up towards the school year, I'm sure we'll have a lot more going on. I know we're starting to work on, and we started it today, to work on our golf tournament in October next year for basketball, which raised a lot of money last year. I think we're going to raise a lot more this year and do it really big. So have that coming up in October. But yeah, become a member at cat-fund.com as little as $10 a month.
That is a heck of a deal, and all that money goes straight to the athletes, which I think is the best part of this. And you can get some cool stuff out of it too, all for $10 a month.
Yeah, exclusive access to information, Cat Fund merch, meet and greets with athletes. I think we had a handful of meet and greets this last year, which was cool. So definitely a lot of good stuff when you become a member.
It definitely is. And also a lot of good stuff over at our friends at Eternal Roofing. We told you about the roofing. We've told you over and over about the roofing, but they do a lot of general contracting. They can paint the interior, exterior of your home or business, install your gutters, garage doors. Look, we know how much flooding has happened. They do floors, woodworking, sheetrock. They are the ones you call. And Ben, I was on the website over here today. And well, you know what? We're going to go back to screen sharing just because I can. And, well, if I can figure it out again. There it is. And over here, they have a blog, Ben, at eternalroofingtx.com. They have a blog up there, and they update this quite often. Here's one: how to choose the right roofing contractor in Texas, your ultimate guide. Maintaining your roof, a homeowner's guide to preventative care. Eco-friendly horizons for environmentally conscious property owners. So many good things. Go on the website and just see what they do. They do a lot of great work. Taylor and that crew are outstanding. They do an amazing job. And up at the top, listen, you want to call the Montgomery County office? That's area code 936-215-8539. The Hill Country office, area code 830-251-5673. You can email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. And you can also, up there at the very top, submit a prayer request. Only
they do it all.
Do what?
They do it all.
They really do. They do. And the fact that they're here for that, I mean, the service area, they can, Houston to San Antonio, the Hill Country, everywhere in between. That's what they do. Give Eternal Roofing a call. Nice little, yeah. You can get a quote. Everything you need is on their website, eternalroofingtx.com. Get with them today. And by all means, give them a call if you need some work done. They are the people to help you. We have a miscellaneous segment before we go here, Ben.
You got to do the dance. Got to do the shopping dance.
We need music for the miscellaneous dance, and we don't have it, do we?
We're still learning, right?
In case you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Homer. Yes.
Homer, yeah.
I really wasn't being sarcastic. I just wanted to play that. I have cool toys over here. Hey, speaking of cool toys, we got some cheers to give out, Ben, to the women's golf team who 12 teams at the regional, the Texas A&M College Station regional, I believe that was today, Ben. And not only that, they had an individual. Is it Vieira Rosada?
Yeah, Permenta Rosada. Yep.
Vieira Permata Rosada, yes.
Yeah.
She shot a second round 65. She torched that course in the second round. Struggled a little bit in the first round, a little more in the third today, but she finished tied for 9th overall. One under for the entire tournament. And Ben, how close was she to getting to the national tournament?
Yeah, she was pretty close. I think obviously the top 5 teams go to nationals, and all the players from those top 5 teams go to the national tournament. But then the top individual that was not on a team going to nationals will also go to the national tournament. I believe she placed second behind a golfer from Kansas State. So she had a really good week, which was really cool to see out of probably somewhere around 100 golfers or close to it, getting tied for ninth.
Oh, yeah, that was a tremendous week. And it was. Carla Bernat from Kansas State was not – like K-State as a team wasn't even there. Like it was just her. That was a golf team made of one, Ben.
Well, and she's like the New Mexico State girl. So whoever wins the conference tournament, if you win it as an individual and your team doesn't go, you get to go to a regional. So that's what happened with her. And obviously she's pretty good, so she'll keep moving on.
She tied for third at 7 under.
Just casual.
Ingrid Lindblad of LSU fired 3 consecutive 68s to finish 12 under and take the regional title.
Just sounds like a tough, like strong name. Ingrid
Lindblad.
Just
and you know what?
Like she drives the ball 400 yards.
She's a darn golfer, man.
Yeah.
63 straight 68s. How hard is that to do? I could put up 3 straight 140s.
You could do what she did in 3 rounds in 1 round.
Yeah, pretty easily, man. You ought to see me play golf, dude. It's not good.
March to the pod live stream golf.
That would be so bad. It'd probably get some laughs though. The baseball team had a good weekend last weekend, Ben. They swept Tarleton and 9-6, 3-2, 2-1 in 10 innings. Good pitching. Where you sit on the offense. I mean, 9 runs, great, but then you get 5 for the rest of the weekend. I'm just not – I haven't seen this team put it together yet.
I mean, like I said, it just feels like – I mean, you got a sweep, which you really needed. And it was a Tarleton team that was half decent. They were 15-9 in WAC play, and the WAC is kind of a middle-of-the-pack baseball conference. So it was a quality series sweep. But, yeah, the offense is very hit and miss. It's just very inconsistent. It's Walker, Yannick, and then hopefully you can get 1 or 2 more guys to kind of go along with them. But it was good to see them find a way to win games. You had the midweek off, and so should be fully rested and ready to go in Miami for a big 3-game series against FIU.
It is a very big series against FIU. They are 11-10. They are currently 5th in conference standings. Sam Houston is 7-11 in conference. That puts them 7th. 8 teams make it. We figured this out before we came on the air. There's a magic number of 4 for Sam Houston to clinch a tournament berth. So that's what we're looking for. But FIU 11-10, and then after 3 against FIU, they've got the final game against Houston, and then they come home and play Jack State, who is the bottom team. So listen, you want to clinch that before they come in. You do not want to give them any chance of earning a bid, stealing a bid from you that final weekend. They need to sweep FIU, and they need to go ahead and have Jack State lose one this weekend.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you still haven't clinched it by the time Jack State comes here, I mean, they control their own destiny at the end of the day. If they win all 3, they're still in it. So got to find some sort of combination to equal 4. And, yeah, it's a big week going to FIU, pretty quality opponent. And then you got game 3 of the Don Sanders Cup, which I think you're trying to win for the first time since 2019, maybe 2020. It's been a little while since we've taken that from Houston. And then, obviously, a big series with Jack State. So, really critical last 7 games of the season coming up.
Yeah, and look, Jack State plays Middle Tennessee this weekend, and they're right there 8-9, 1 game separated.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee's not that great either, so Jack State could steal a couple. You never know.
Hey, look, if they sweep Middle Tennessee, which is not out of the realm of possibility, Sam Houston, that keeps them alive. Sam Houston with a sweep at FIU cannot clinch a tournament spot. It would come down to that series against Jack State. That's really what it would come down to. And quite honestly, at this point, it looks like their season comes down to that Jack State series, the final 3 games at home.
Right, because even if you win 2 and Jack State takes 2 in their series, you still haven't clinched just yet. So, I mean, yeah, you got to keep the foot on the gas, and hopefully you can carry over some of this momentum into into the final 2 weeks of the season.
If both teams sweep this weekend, it's still the magic number of 1 going into that final weekend. So
and both teams control their own destiny at that point.
They do. At this point, that's what all the coaches are telling them. Much like I'm telling the Flying Squirrels, they say we got to win last week. We got our second win of the season. We defeated Electra in a walk-off. Very, very, very entertaining walk-off game. We won.
The one that got rescheduled?
It did get rescheduled because they refused to show up for the first one. So we beat them 8-7 on a walk-off. We have the Boomtown Sluggers, who is in last place. Their 1 win is against us, so that tells you we can't take them for granted, right? But we do play them, and we have a chance, if we win, of getting up into 3rd place, and that would be big with playoffs right around the corner. Only the top 2 seeds get a game off, so we don't have any chance of getting the first game off. We got to win 3 in a week, the week of the 20th, to reclaim our championship, man.
Coming down the home stretch,
just like Sam Houston is, and look, just like the Cats, Flying Squirrels, they control their own destiny. They really do. You know who else had a good time this weekend? Softball, man. They announced some softball awards, and 3 Cats received some all-conference. Outfielder Ellie Grill, infielder, is it Elia Hebel?
Yep.
All right, hey, I got it right. And Amy Abke. Let's see. Ellie and Ella, we're going to go Ellie Grill and Elia Hebel were named second team. Abby Abke was named to the all-freshman team. She had 20 wins as a freshman, dude. You've been talking up Amy Abke preseason, all season. Now here in the postseason, dude, the coaches recognized it too.
Yeah, and I mean, 20 wins, 109 innings pitched as a true freshman, 2.4 ERA. Just really, I thought she could have been an all-conference performer. And then you've got the other true freshman. She didn't get any awards, but Abigail Young had a 3.7 ERA in 73 innings. So those 2 as true freshmen is really exciting going into next year. But then Ellie Grill and Aaliyah Hebel, both making that second team all-conference, both had just really big years. Grill, superb outfielder, led the team in hits, hit almost 330, played really good defense, and then Hebel hit 320 with 10 homers and 30 RBIs. And so here Ellie Grill, 1,000 fielding percentage. So she can do it on both sides. So good for them. And I think they're both seniors too.
Is that good?
1,000? Yeah, I think it's as good as you can get, as far as I know.
Huh. You can't get 1,010%?
As far as I know, you cannot.
And that's how we're going to go out today, Ben. That's how we're going to do it. But we're also going to do it playing some music as we say a big time thank you. Here at this today, if you're watching, thank you. If you're listening, thank you. Ben, thank you. We'll be back next week with another episode. And until then, Ben, we need some wins here. What are we going to tell our Cats?
Eat 'em up, Cats, and hope we do some more preparation for this weekend's baseball series than we did for today's podcast.
Pissing on the podcast.